Hey everybody, Noel from HomeQwik. I'm going to be interviewing Luke Schweitzer from Lead Simple. They are a nationwide, well-known CRM company that we use for our property management business. And we're going to talk to him about what they do and how they can help you and get some insight from Luke. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, Noel from HomeQwik, and thank you for checking out this podcast, Qwik Chats with HomeQwik. I have got Luke Schweitzer. I'm saying that right, Luke?
Yes, you are. Nice work.
Luke Schweitzer from Lead Simple. Luke and I met a couple of weeks ago, so that we're shooting this in on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you of 2021. Luke and I met at the NARPM National Broker Owner conference at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut a couple weeks ago. We had a booth next to each other and it was very lightly attended, so we spent a lot of time hanging out. But we've been using Lead Simple for HomeQwik for a long time. We're a property manager, but I also put my real estate sales leads in there. Luke, why don't you introduce yourself and then maybe take a minute to kind of introduce Lead Simple and maybe even talk about the specific type of clients that you guys target.
Sure. I'm Luke Schweitzer, as you mentioned. I work with Lead Simple. I've been working with property managers for a few years now. And the folks I talk to every day, we were built for property managers, but really I talk with people, and for the most part it is property managers, but people that deal with properties. Looking at the CRM side, and that's not simply what Lead Simple is, it's part of it. But other CRMs don't have a property. You're shoehorning that in somewhere. And so we work with lenders that are, looking to sell mortgages and things like that. Okay. Lots and lots of different industries that include.
Could be anybody that has a sales workflow, right?
Yeah. We have some folks do software sales. There's a lot of outliers just because it works. It's a simple to use CRM, not meaning it's simple. It's just simple to use. That really everybody can take advantage of, whether you're a property manager or selling software. Okay. Real estate sales, transactional, keeping track as you're doing transactional things, making sure all those things are getting done is something we've done before as well.
Okay. So yeah, it's a very intuitive. We use it. I think we've got just in our version of it, 7 or 8 auto replies that go out, and they're scheduled, right? So we have an automatic reply that goes out, and then in 2 days, another one goes out with a video. And then in 5 days, another one goes out with a video and maybe a rental comp. So it's totally customizable, which we love. And you kind of set it and forget it. You put those in, and then I go and check my Lead Simple every day and kind of check the status of each lead, right? So yeah, I see what it sent them, and I love that I can text. I can call directly from there, records the call, which is great to be able to go back and listen, because I do forget some stuff sometimes. And then to just keep a good track of those leads. So we love it. So going in, we are users. We were on Zoho before, which and that was years and years ago, but it didn't do half of the stuff that this does. So we really like it, and I'm happy to recommend it. But just to get into some questions that I wanted to ask you about what's going on now.
Yeah.
What do you see people usually coming to you for? Like what makes Lead Simple different from other CM process management tools, or stuff that people are using in this industry?
Yeah, people usually come because balls are being dropped somewhere, and it can be, everybody's different. Is it, I always joke that Lead Simple makes me better me, but it's not really a joke. It does. To your point, we were talking about follow-up. Would you follow up with somebody? I would love to say I would follow up with a contact, whether it be nurturing an existing client or whether it be hunting down a new one, that I am going to reach out to that person for the next 90 days, hunting. Who has the time? Like, you have to have somewhere to keep track of all, and you have to have literally the time. if you can have a system, which is what, I use Lead Simple too on a daily basis.
Sure.
I can drip out information and it's still personal. I can put a video in there and it's me. Cool. That makes me look like Superman when, I'm just trying to do the best I can. And
well,
so
we all know salespeople. I don't know, this is probably not your first sales job, but you're right. I mean, if I didn't have a tool like this, there's no way I would remember to call 4 people 3 or 4 or 5 times. What do they say? It takes 5 times or so at least to close a sale.
Yep.
I mean, how do you keep track of that? If you only have 5 leads, maybe, but if you got more than that, you need some kind of help.
Yeah. I've ran teams and I've ran and B2B sales myself with a notebook and an Excel doc. Like it's getting by, but my close rates could have been much higher with a little bit more persistence and following up and just knowing that I hadn't followed up. Like how powerful is it to go and look and say, hey, I haven't talked to Noel in 2 weeks. Like I got to reach out. Like I need that for my personal life. Like I've got friends like I haven't talked to so-and-so in 6 weeks. I got to go and have a beer with them.
Facebook doesn't quite cover it. Yeah. Reminders.
Doesn't quite do the deal. And those balls could be, we're talking CRM, but it could be, we're dropping balls on lease renewals. Like we lost an owner because we fumbled a lease renewal. Now we had to go through a bunch of stuff. It created a big to-do. And it was something simple. Like we didn't start the lease renewal and we ran a tenant with no lease for 3 months.
Okay, so that's obviously different than anything, anybody else's CRM. I know some real estate CRMs might remind you that it's time to send the Binzer or checking in on your inspection times or appraisal. So that kind of leads into the second part of that question is what makes Lead Simple different from other CRMs or process management? I mean, you're talking about managing processes here, right?
Yeah, and really, like we started with CRM, but process is like if you break it out, it's relationship management. So are your processes. Like if we look at a lease renewal, for instance, we have a relationship between an owner and a tenant and a property. Sure. And we're managing that relationship as they go through a lease renewal. Automating communication. Like we want to make sure that every single time we do a lease renewal, we run a CMA, we check the tenant history, and then we send an owner, some of that information, let them make a decision if they want to renew.
Sure.
People's stuff is different, but I want to make sure that always gets done. If it's left to me in my own devices, I may not check that stuff, or I may forget to message the owner, or just being able to once a month get a reminder, hey, I need to run a report that gives me every lease I have coming up 128 days from now. And I can pull a report, click a button, all of them come up, and I can enter a little bit of information and start 100 lease renewals at one time.
And you hit on a real good point there. I mean, a property manager literally has 50 things to do in a day. A lease renewal, set up utilities, send a 5-day notice, call an owner back, check on a dishwasher, check on a toilet, make sure the ads are running, process an application. So that's great. So Lead Simple can definitely help manage that process and at least make sure the communication is clear.
It can, and it's different for everybody. Some people, they're actively in the business. I'm the one doing the lease renewal, and it's great because I can keep track of it. Sometimes it's, I want to hire a VA or I have an employee. How can I make sure that they're doing it?
Sure.
And do I have how do you get the visibility you need on a checklist or a make ready board? Like, if that make ready board doesn't get updated, you don't know.
Okay.
So that's a big part of it as well. Like for different scopes. I mean, it just depends on every company is a little bit different.
Okay. And you'd say the bulk of your clients and what you guys, kind of push for is really the property management, the real estate realm. So is there any specific, maybe there's some new stuff that I don't even know about. You want to highlight maybe 1 or 2 things that are, some of those process type management tasks or tools within the system?
You bet. We've got, not everybody runs delinquencies, but a delinquency process that you can run, and it does all that follow-up for you. And if that person pays, it can pull them out of that delinquency process. How much time would that, for some people, that's going to save them a lot of time. For some people, not so much. But that's some of the different things you can do. Also, conditional logic, being able to make branch out a process. So if the owner says they're not going to renew, the tenant gets an email.
Okay.
Person hitting that button doesn't need to know what happens next. They just know that the owner is not choosing to renew with that tenant.
Right.
And that message goes out. And I've seen that used in so many different far out applications, like great one in sales, because you can use this stuff in sales because sales is a process. But somebody referred a potential owner to you, and you go out and you visit the property. And if there's an owner present, or a referrer present, sends them a text message automatically right after that meeting's supposed to be over, and just says, "Hey, wanted to keep in the loop. I just left the property. I'll let you know how it goes."
Wow, that's cool. So as a former BNI member, I could see a lot of BNI people really appreciating that. Anybody that sends a referral, right? You want to know that you handed it off to somebody that you trust. Follow up is totally key. So
yeah,
yeah, and that's one of the things I love is, so we have the stages set for the actual process, the in talks button, the nurturing button, the closed management client button. So yeah, so we're only using it as the sales side. We need to look at, maybe implementing something like the process, like you said, the lease renewal and those type things. I could see where it could be very useful for that. And, we're not even tapping into everything that it can do on our side. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something to take a look at.
Okay. Well, what brought you in Lead Simple? What brought you into the PM world, and what do you like about working with property managers every day? Some of us are a little battle worn, but I think most of us are pretty cool, right?
Yeah, no, I love it. I really, really love it. I don't ever want to leave again. I've done business to business with AT&T for a long, long time, like a decade and a half-ish, and needed a change. And so I had a relationship and found myself, like some property managers do, here you just find your way to property management. Sure. But I was on the vendor side, and so I spent some time at Property Meld and really, really enjoyed it there.
Yeah.
And then had an opportunity to go remote with Lead Simple, which was awesome for my lifestyle. Living in South Dakota,
kind of nice to not have to drive. You don't have to drive so much in the winter, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. But so I love solving problems, like to a neurotic extent. Like I'm one of those, like, no, this is broken. We got to fix it. We can't do anything until this is done. And there's so many different, like everybody's just different. Every company has different needs and a different circumstance. And it's so interesting to me that I love hearing about it. And if I can help solve it, man, this is going to sound super corny, but I love it. Like that's what gets me excited.
Well, that's cool. I mean, there's definitely days I love property management. There's definitely days I don't, but that is very cool. So yeah, I think that's all the questions I had. So I'll kind of give you the floor. Is there anything you want to tell us about what you guys have going on? Any promotions, anything specific that people should be asking if they want to come in and reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, first off, we offer a 14-day trial. I'd like everybody to take a look. You can play around in it. If you do, I ask, book a time with me. Like, I just want to make sure you see how it can work.
Yeah.
Because it's tough when you get into a new system. You don't know what anything is. And I want to show you where the on button is and the off button, so to speak.
Sure.
We're going to be at PMMCon here coming up in a few weeks. Cool. So for those seeing this post PMMCon, this won't be too interesting for you.
Well, they might have seen you there and not had a chance to talk to you. You never know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, come to our website, start a trial, and I'll reach out and see if we can connect.
And just like, with part of the reasons we're in NARPM, I'm a past president for a chapter here in Phoenix. So we're members as property managers, and then we're also members as affiliate vendors with Yes Virtual. So, one of the best things about NARPM is we share information. So anybody that's watching this, if you're curious about how we use Lead Simple, I'm happy to go over with you too. It's made my life so much easier. And like you mentioned earlier, we use our VAs, are in and out of it. They're helping a couple other property managers that we service on the VA side. They're managing their Lead Simple, and really helps your business development manager. But as you mentioned, there's lots of different avenues you could take this into in the daily property management task sphere, right?
Yeah. Speaking of sharing, you could even share your process.
Yeah.
Simple. If you've built one, you have somebody you want to collaborate with or want them to be able to use, do somebody a solid, you can even share that.
Well, I will work for burritos. So if you're out there and you're listening, you need a process, we could maybe help you out.
Get a great process, grab a great VA along the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Luke, this is very cool. Like I said, we love the product. And it was great to meet you. So I'm glad we got this chance to follow up, and everybody out there will have Luke's info on this podcast for you. But Luke, tell us how the best way to reach you. You said go to the website.
Hey, go to the website, or you can email me, luke@leadsimple.com. I'm always around, but either way, come find me. Come find me on Facebook at Luke Schweitzer, Instagram, all that fun jazz.
Cool. So you guys will see that info here in the video. We'll magically make that appear for Luke. Luke, thanks again, man. Great to talk to you. And I won't be at PMMCon, but hopefully I'll see you at NARPM National in October in Kansas City.
I will not miss that. You will definitely see me there. Thanks for having me on, Noel. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank you.